see you. Let me start right off to say, who is this good-looking guy, this man of intrigue with the Forex chart behind him? My name is Bill Deichler. I would like to thank each and every one of you. I'm very honored for you to be here, no matter what time it is in your part of the
Don't
world.
sell your
Whoop,
house
wait,
without
wait,
getting
hold it,
bonus
hold it
coverage.
1 second,
I can buy your
everybody.
house fast.
We're
You
getting
can pay
an
your next
echo
month's
here.
mortgage or cover your moving costs.
Give
My
me
team
one
buys
moment.
homes exactly as they are.
That's so funny, everybody. I was just going to get into that little bit of housekeeping. It's like 5 minutes before I get to roll with you, all sorts of things start happening. And a little bit more than 5 minutes. Once again, my name is Bill Deichler. I'll give you a little bit of a background on me. I was in the midst of saying thank you to all of you. I'm very honored to be here with you. Any time that you share time with me, time is our most valuable asset. I know we will be talking about the Forex asset, right? I come prepared with my Forex hat. I'm starting to build quite a collection of trading related baseball caps. It's just a little fun thing on the side. But once again, really honored to be here with you. The most valuable asset we all have is our time, and I don't take that lightly. I really want to deliver. Now, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. Couple little clunky things, unfortunately. Right before I went to get on the microphone, a bottle of water spilled, so you might see a little bit of water on me. Number two, the sound you heard in the background. I was trying to keep up on the chat and in YouTube, follow along with you, and it decided to start also talking to us. So that's all covered. Last but not least, I will ask you for a little bit of patience. My main computer, about an hour ago, the camera started acting up, so I'm actually using two computers. We have a lot of technology going on here. We have Juan and Nakoma helping out with all sorts of technology. Of obviously YouTube. We have Zoom going. I have a couple of computer setups since I was having a little bit of a projector issue earlier. So with that, there will be a moment where I pause. I'm going to spend a little time with you here now. I really do want you to put a name with a face. So many of you I've had contact with in the past in various fronts, other IFT activities, other open houses, or we do have a fair number of students here also. When we do something for the public, we consider our students part of the public, and they're always welcome to attend. So with that, I will have a little bit of a pause to switch computers. There's certain things that I'll be able to teach better from one computer, and then the other computer a little bit easier to spend camera time and mic time with you. So I did notice earlier we have people from all over the world. And I was going to give a shout out for people to mention where they're coming in from, but I didn't need to. I actually saw, yes, I'm thinking about this quickly, every continent except for Antarctica, as far as what people posted earlier. And it's just always wonderful to see that. Another quick note. There are some team members from the organization here, and don't be surprised if you have a question or a quick inquiry if somebody else besides me jumps into the chat. We have several wonderful people. We have Chevy, Valentina, Camilo, uh, um, Paula, Omar. So if you see those names pop up, they're really trying to reach out and address you and help you. They're also very, very kind to put their contact information. And I think that's really it as far as the housekeeping. I just wanted to warn you, of course, a little while before the camera goes on, bottle of water falls over, the camera starts acting up. It's all part of a trading day, right? So next thing, next thing, I am extremely excited to be here. It's probably the second time I'm saying that. Uh, quite frankly, don't have to be here. The ocean is a few miles away, and I usually like going to the bay side or the ocean side now that the good weather is arriving here and take a walk on the beach. But even more than enjoying a walk on the beach, I love just talking about trading. I'm passionate about it. Once this gets under your skin, it's tough to let it go. And whenever I have opportunity to speak about it, quite frankly, I'm an introvert by nature, but turn around and bring up a lovely chart like you see behind me, and I just become an extrovert. I just am passionate about this, and I hope you already are sensing that and feeling that. Um, oh, I should have mentioned this as far as the technology. Juan pointed this out earlier. You probably are seeing two of me. There's me with the chart as the background for now, and at the top of your screen, you're probably possibly seeing another one of me with a blurred background of my current location. I did start mentioning it. I am located by the beach in North Carolina. Those of you who vacation on the East Coast of the United States, there's the Outer Banks. I bet you everybody here is familiar with the Outer Banks because right across the bay from me is Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers flew from the strait for the first time. It actually is a straight line from where I'm sitting right now. The history of flight, the beach, it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. So, um, yeah, let me give you a little bit of a background. Originally from New York City, so shout out to all you New York metropolitan area people. Born in New York City, grew up around New York City, back to college and graduate school in New York City, and then ventured to the wonderful capital of this country, Washington, D.C., for my corporate years. Worked my way, clawed my way up a corporate ladder, became a chief financial officer, and then moved to the Outer Banks, where I pursued real estate development and trading. And real estate development abruptly ended in 2010. If you are not too young, you probably remember that time period very vividly. Financially, it was somewhat the end of the world, at least for a time period. Even think of the markets, right? Even think of the markets. Oh my goodness, the euro crashed. The US stock market crashed, but only for a little while in the scheme of things. Within the next 15 years, the amount of liquidity in the systems, the nature of the markets, just amazing. So, what else do I want to touch upon? Oh, let me segue to IFT, right? We're here to talk about the IFT organization. I first met Oliver Velez in 1999. I think he mentioned this the other day when he was doing a session on YouTube. I first met him in 1999. He was the inaugural speaker at the first ever Traders Expo. The Traders Expo used to be a really big thing. It kind of has morphed into a bunch of different things these days, but it used to be this organization that would put on these expositions like conventions for traders. It was really wonderful, especially back then when we didn't have mediums like this, where you really it was you were so isolated unless you went to something like a Trader Expo to meet other traders. And that was 1999. I was totally, totally into what he was showing, the charts, like you see right behind me right now, the charts with the simple moving averages and the candlesticks. I was like, oh my goodness, could trading and technical trading, right? There's two types of tradings, fundamental trading and technical trading for the most part. I know there's other varieties within those segments, but fundamentals are all of you out there that are like glued to CNBC and a Bloomberg terminal, and you're all about the earnings and the macroeconomic developments and what the Feds are doing all around the world. If you ever watch CNBC, an incredible former fundamental trader, he's now a broadcaster, Jim Cramer. Whether you like him as a personality or not, that's one thing, but he was an incredible fundamental trader. Well, then what IFT is, what I am, and I would guess many of you, technical traders. We trade by the charts. We trade by the charts. And it doesn't matter. There could be incredible macro and microeconomic news out there. We do whatever the charts are doing. For example, the chart behind me right now, we'll get to this trade in a little while, before I turn on the microphone for an event like this, I usually do a little scanning and see if I could find a trade and open up with a trade. And I'm in a trade in this particular chart. I'll explain it, and we'll take some time together and actually go look for trades together. So with that, again, sort of bobbing and weaving here a little bit, but knitting a story in my background. You're spending time here. Get to know me. Understand the longevity. Oh my goodness. Let me pause on that for a moment. Oliver Velez, IFT, longevity, so wonderful, so rare, so refreshing, and I'm very proud to be part of all this. Um, as I mentioned, Oliver's trading career goes back to the late 1980s, his trading education to the 1990s. And I joined, as I said, I listened to him and met him in person for the first time in 1999. Was I smart enough to join right away? No. I did what probably most of you have done many times before. I bet you there is a substantial segment listening right now of all of you wonderful people right now who have been to multiple Oliver Velez and IFT YouTube events and never joined. Well, shame on you. I'm only teasing. Everybody's journey is different. But I do really say shame on me. Back in 1999, I joined the organization in 2008. Think about that. Almost 10 years later. Think about that. The longevity of IFT, the longevity. I have put this out there for a while. Nobody has approached me with anything yet. So let me put that out there again. And then when I say for a while, I mean for like a half decade. I know of no other trading education organization, right? It is a trading education business. I know of no other trading organization, education organization that has the longevity of IFT. I believe anybody out there putting out trading education, they mean well. Yes, are there scammers out there? There'll always be scammers, but I really do think they're a small percentage. I think most people are genuine. But how many people, we're on YouTube right now. How many people on YouTube, all of a sudden they're around going strong for 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then you never hear from them again, or their channel changes and they switch. Not Oliver Velez, not IFT. We're talking decades here. So just the longevity is a testament in itself. So again, just to plow forward with my journey with IFT, you have a little bit of my personal and corporate background. Once again, New York City native, now living on the wonderful Outer Banks of North Carolina, and involved in trading for decades. And part of IFT, I'm dating myself, folks, almost 20 years. Finally, about 10 years after meeting Oliver, 2008, I joined the organization as a student. Why? Well, a lot of it has to do with why I know a lot of you are here. Why do I know? Well, I know from experience being around the block, but our incredible team actually did some nice outreach to a lot of you before these events this week. And they were actually astonished. Josephine, who's part of our team, actually, I met with the team down in Colombia. Shout out to South America, Colombia, in Medellin, one of the most wonderful cities in the world, in my opinion. There's many wonderful cities, but Medellin ranks there. And Josephine was very kind to let me know some of the feedback. And she said, Bill, you wouldn't believe it was so simple. The common theme was consistency. I've been at this for a while, but I'm suffering. Great highs and great lows, consistency. Well, that's what brought me to IFT. I had been at this for a while, and I'm telling you, and this is the literal truth. The swings were so wild. And this is straightforward. This is not metaphorical. I had years where I bought additional cars, boats, and houses, properties, as a result of the incredible returns on trading. And then there were subsequent years where I had to sell the boats, the cars, and the properties because of the horrible downturns. So I understand the craving for consistency. And I had reached a point with my trading where the highs and lows were so dramatic. And I took a look at my charts and they looked so much like a bowl of spaghetti. They were not pristine and sleek with just a few things on them like you see behind me right now. And I finally thought to myself, oh my goodness, that guy Oliver that I met in 1999, he had those beautiful, simple charts. Now, part of it was my academic background. Very blessed to have been very well educated. I have multiple degrees, I think three master's degrees and four bachelor's degrees. I just love education, and how ironic, I'm an educator today. I'm more of a modern educator, not in an accredited university, but I think this is even better. Oh my goodness, if this was a university class, I'd be talking to maybe 30 wonderful students. Here I get to talk to thousands of traders with like interest. So I get to a point where my charts look like a bowl of spaghetti. The highs and lows are just too much. I'm craving consistency. And I remember good old Oliver, the guy with the simple charts with these candlesticks and three moving averages. Just if you're interested right out of the gate, obviously most of you probably know Japanese candlesticks. And with that, and with that, uh, and with that, there's the three moving averages. So once again, a little bit of education here as we, eventually get over to more education and we get over to the the live trading. I'll show you the trade that's on right now, and also we'll together go in an IFT fashion and scan for trades. But with that, the three simple moving averages behind me are the 8, which is the yellowish or amber or orange color, the 20, which is the blue one, and the 200. At IFT, that's all based on Fibonacci mathematics. And if you were a Fibonacci purist, it would be the 8, the 21, and I always get it mixed up, the 233 or 234. It doesn't matter. We're talking about areas on the chart. The difference between a 20 moving average and a 21 period simple moving average is nothing. Another question we get often, uh, are these exponential moving averages or this moving average? No, plain old simple moving averages. When you think of IFT, think of the grandeur in its simplicity. So now with the program finally joined in 2008, and I really want you to know that. I really want you to absorb that. Basically, I've been in your shoes. I'm not just some guy who came up with an idea and say, let's pop onto YouTube. I've walked the walk, I've suffered the pain, I've yearned for the consistency. I had to make a decision about buying trading education. And I probably have spent well over $100,000 on trading education over the years. And the best money spent has been with IFT. And so I joined IFT, and they have two programs where you can graduate and get your trading funded for you. One of them is Swing Prop, what we're talking about tonight, Swing Prop, and where we day trade and swing trade the Forex trading instrument. So I really thought it was important. Um, After our last presentation, I actually received a fair number of personal questions. Oh, where were you originally from? Oh, you mentioned the corporate background. Oh, you talked about your trading journey. And I thought, oh man, I should probably elaborate on that a little bit more. So thank you, for the latitude to do so. But within there, think of the education we covered already, the craving for consistency, the approach to consistency, the simplicity of the IFT methodology, the beauty of the simple charts like the chart behind me. Trying to think anything else besides just my journey inside of IFT. I joined in 2008, graduated the equities program in 2010. Once again, making a lot of mistakes, made the journey harder to graduation than it should have been. But then when I joined this program, the swing prop program, where we day trade and swing trade the Forex trading instrument, I did graduate in the minimum 90 days. You know, once I joined this program, I said, no, no more nonsense, no more stupid stuff. You know what you're supposed to do, just do it. Um, yeah, well, that's it. Let me just quickly tell you what we're going to do. What we're going to do here from this point forward. I really do appreciate, it's not my style as an introvert, but I really do appreciate you letting me hop on camera, answer questions that we've received throughout the week about me, about my background, how it ties into the program and my journey, and how it ties into what so many of you are looking for. But this is going to be very straightforward from this point forward. Loosely, I'm going to do this in three parts. We're going to look for trades together. I'm going to do a bit of trading education. Uh, and I also will at the end set up time for Q&A. How long will this go? It's supposed to go for a solid hour to an hour and a half, but you know what? I will stay until every question is answered at the end. So, as I said earlier, if you're arriving a little bit later, a little bit of clunkiness here on my end. A couple of technology issues. One of them is with the camera on my main computer, so I'm using two computer systems. I came over here where I knew the camera was reliable. I just want you to bear with me. This will take me seconds. I'm just going to shift over to the other computer where I can turn off the camera and focus on the projector, and we can really pour into the charts together and look for trades and further educate, and then do a little bit of Q&A. All right, everybody, just give me a couple of moments. Oh, and already, thank you. I have Carl here, and I know there's other comments. Don't worry, I'll get to the comments and the questions later. But Carl, that's very, very kind. I'm glad it meant a lot to you about sharing my journey, right? There's so many of you that could probably relate to it, particularly the dramatic highs and lows. And now you're actually at a place, and you'll learn in a few minutes, you can really ameliorate, in other words, calm down and soften the wild swings. Trading will always have its ups and downs, but do you have to go through a journey where you're burning through, forget about hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or a good part of $1 million, as I did, trying to go it alone? Or can you basically invest in yourself and invest at a very minor cost in some trading education where you get everything you need to be a success? Once again, at IFT, you get education, endless continuing education, both live and recorded. You get a community. You don't have to go it alone. You get people like me who have been through the system. And then if you show some simple, only one of the criteria is a challenge. I'll go through that, but simple criteria, three simple criteria. And if you need to, if you're not trading your own money and you need to be capitalized in your trading, that occurs. Again, I'm living proof of that. So everybody, as I mentioned, bear with me for a moment with the technology. I just have to do a quick switch here. It'll be a matter of seconds, and we'll get right. Well, you know what? We'll probably start right with this trade that's on the screen. You see everybody? Whoop, wait a second. A little bit of echo. Hold on. You see, everybody, it wasn't that bad. That was just a few seconds. And I'm sorry if it blasted your eardrums there. Juan even warned me, working with two computer systems. Don't forget to turn off the microphones and all of that. So with that, thank you, Heli Flight. Oh, Heli Flight. I was just talking about flight just a little while ago. Right by a few miles away from where the Wright brothers flew for the first time. So let me explain what's going on this chart. And once again, don't forget, we are going to do a variety of things. I am going to do some trading with you. And as I was getting prepared, this trade appeared and I took it. So let me explain it a bit in pure IFT fashion. I know if I put a shout out into this room with my current students, they would let me know that it's a VBS. I'm sorry, a VSS, the cell setup. So with that, thank you everybody. That was very kind. That was very kind of you to let me know that the switch over with the computers went smoothly and everything's real cool. So thank you. Very, very generous of you. Um, so Menda, I will take questions in the end, but basically you're asking which market is the best, or I like to say which trading instrument. It all depends on the one you like the best because you need to become an expert on it. I consider myself ambidextrous in this regard. I search for IFT patterns. I don't care if the IFT patterns are on a Forex chart. I don't care if they're on an equities chart. I don't care if they're on a chart of Pokemon cards. So that's kind of my approach. So let me explain the trade quickly. And I teach a lot almost every day, and I do have this layering. So don't be concerned. You'll notice how I put this all forward in layers. So on this chart, if I ask my students, what is this? They would identify it as a VSS. So let me point it out. In the bigger scheme of things, and the first thing I always mandate is, hey, we speak a common language. What are the 6 things to describe the trade? Okay, the symbol, the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar, the trading time frame, the 1 hour, the bias short, the strategy of Velez sell setup, VSS Velez sell setup, the entry. Now, I'm noticing the lines might be a little faint, so let me add to it. I usually use red to show selling, and then green. So there's the short entry, and then green to denote buying. So here's the buying hard stop up here, right above the candles and the wicks. So there are 4 parts to a VSS to put it in a nutshell. Part number 1, do we have a confirmed downtrend? Not very long lived yet, but yes, from an IFT perspective, this is a confirmed downtrend. Now, our traders do know you do have to take into account what's going on in the rest of the chart. If you really looked at it, this is going sideways. But right now, over the last 2 to 4 pivots, we are going downwards. The downtrend is confirmed. Will it sustain? Who knows? We don't know. Will it take out this former low back there and be down into blue skies again? We don't know. But if you trade like an IFT trader, it's really not a big deal because we're already taking off risk and profitable way before it even gets to the former low all the way to the left. So let me walk through it a little bit more and let me clean up what I've already drawn. Again, this is a live real trade right now.
Market conditions could hit, it could stop out live in front of you. We had one of those. We had one of those on the first trade we took on Monday when we were gathered. Okay, so with that, to dovetail a little bit of what you learned from Oliver on Saturday, right? Saturday was the main day. He talked about color change. Remember, he put a few things in front of you. WWPT, the where, the what, all that sort of stuff. Then he talked about color change, and then he talked about surge of momentum. Well, on this chart, just to tie in with Oliver, a surge of momentum would have been something more like back there, right? What we call those elephant bars. What we're doing here is right now is more of color change. But remember, color change is just part of the strategy. Oliver was doing an introduction on Saturday. He was doing an introduction on Saturday. So color change is just a part of it. So with that, I see somebody said this is different than Oliver. No, this is a VSS. It's named after Oliver. It's named after Oliver. Velez cell setup. You can't get any more Oliver than that. The trading instrument, again, I'm not going to backtrack too much. The trading instrument is Forex, right? In swing prop, we day trade and swing trade Forex. And Anita, you could swing trade the 1 hour, right? Think about it. There's 24 hours in a day, very easy for trades to carry overnight. And as a matter of fact, let me talk about the program in that regard a little bit. A swing trade in the nature of this program is anything that you hold overnight for yourself. You go to bed, you have your hard stops in or your hard stop trails, and you come back and revisit the next day. That's a swing trade. Oliver invented the terminology swing trading. There are other nuances out there. The phrase has developed over the years, but for this program, are you day trading and you're flat at the end of your day, or are you holding overnight? We can hold trades in this program. We can hold trades in this program from about 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday till 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday. The only time we cannot put on a new trade is take off a trade is Saturdays. So Honda Life, if you trade the IFT style, you should not have any problems with spreads because of the pairs that we trade. But you know what? Let me not digress. I made a promise that I will have Q&A on the end. I may grab a couple of questions here and there, but I told you we would segment this. We said this would be about trading. This is a live trade in front of us. Let's continue with the trade. And then, as you see, I'm already teaching. The trading and teaching go together. And then we can do some Q&A together. So, Velez cell setup, the 4 points of it. Number one, do you have a confirmed downtrend? In the greater picture of this pattern, as I said, it's a bit sideways. But if you look at the last day, it has a confirmed downtrend. Number two, where are you in market law 4? Quite simply, how many lower lows and lower highs have we had? We're in about the third pivot, the third set of lower lows and lower highs. Next, do you have a market law 3 pullback? Now, those of you who are tying into what Oliver showed you on Saturday, that's what the pullback's all about, right? The pullback for a short trade would be green, right? It would be green. Whoops. Then, I'm dragging things all around. Let me bring this back into focus. Then, do you have what we also call an event at location, or you can call it color change, right? Stop up in there, right over the setup in the 20. Entry right here. Okay, so that's color change. Subsequent bar takes out a prior bar, color change. So I do see one person here. Let me readjust again. I cut it off. Well, I didn't cut it off. The chart jumped around on me. The projector jumped around a little bit. Let me just straighten that out. Those of you who are asking about the pair and all of this, Forex, New Zealand dollar versus Canadian dollar, short on the 1 hour. So next point, that's the VSS. Number one, go with the direction of the trend, downtrend, looking for shorts. Number two, where are you in the market cycle? Market law 4, about the third move. Number three, your pullback. Number 4, do you have color change? What we call event at location. Now, please, 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 please do hold your questions. I will have time period for Q&A. Market 4 is market cycle. So next, let me do this. I'm hopping around on purpose. I am going to readjust the projector so it's not your eyes. Those of you who are asking about terminology and more about what Oliver taught and seeing more trades, let's get a little bit into pure education mode and then go look for some trades together. So once again, you know you're at the open house. I already discussed about the dramatic feedback about craving for consistency. Oliver went over this, the journey of a trader, constantly losing. I talked about my own journey, winning and giving it all back, and then finally consistent profitability. How do you achieve that? By mastering these 4 factors. And I'll tell you that I will tell you that nobody teaches these 4 factors like IFT. This is interesting. I'm just taking a look, trying to see this come up on YouTube. There we go. Now it is. A little bit of a delay there, gang, but let me show you all 4 of these, right? Trader psychology development, the most important thing. Oh my goodness. If you're going it alone, the odds of you developing a proper trader psychology is so slim. Then perfect risk management. Now I know even I could see, so I'm not really focusing it on now. I'll focus on the comments more when we have Q&A, but I see people talking about bars and terminology and the charts and this. Well, that's the third most important thing. Most important thing. Developing your strategies, because you could have the best strategy in the world, and I believe IFT is some of the best because of its pure simplicity. You could have some of the best in the world, and if you do not develop on these first 2 factors, if you do not work on perfecting your risk management, and perfection of your risk management comes from a proper trader psychology development, you will never move forward. Your odds of success are so small. So then, last but not least, your transactional cost structure. Well, if you're going it alone, that's a big issue. And if you're using novice retail arrangements, they're not really meant for professional trading. They're good for what they're meant for, but they're not meant for professional trading. Well, if you graduate IFT, that is not an issue. You will be put into the right type of arrangements. You have no choice. So just very quickly, because this happened the other day too, I saw some initial thing, you're talking about the program. You said you graduated. What is all this? I'm going to go through this very quickly. Most of you have been here on and off throughout the week, so you're probably familiar. There's 3 tiers of the program currently. Since we're doing all this public outreach, the pricing is the best pricing of the year. So there is basically the sampler. It's a 1-year membership. you get the on-demand trading, the study sessions with me, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with the community in the live trading room, the 28% payout, and the manual and all the materials, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of materials. Then this is like everything, including the live trading camp and the program. And this one is the core program. Multiple meetings with me, pretty much one every Wednesday. The trading room, 7:30 a.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern every weekday, and then the payout. Now, very quickly, I mentioned here's the pricing. The test, $997. Everything, including like immersing yourself in the live trading camp, $24.97, and then $19.97 for the core program. I mentioned earlier, these people are here in the room right now to help you. So I'm letting them guide the questions right now. If somebody's having a little struggle with something, these people are here right now to assist you. If you want to take a screenshot, they're very generous. They're team members that give out their phone numbers, their email addresses, and that's the program in a nutshell. I will dive later. I know there's some of you already that signed up this week. I know some of you are here just to ask your final questions. So we'll dig a little bit more. Now, I mentioned graduation. Very, very important. When you start this journey, you are on a simulator platform. It's all the professional tools. It's all the professional tools. And it except the money is simulator money. All the data feeds, all the bank feeds, they're all the same, except let me toy around with these writing instruments. Here we go. This one is working. You work every day with $50,000 of buying power. Okay? If you lose $500 in a week, a circuit breaker goes off, and you're just sidelined, until the beginning of the next week, just to not so you won't spiral endlessly. It's a bit of a circuit breaker. Now, here's the most important thing for graduation. Okay, right here. It's crazy how simple it is. There's only one thing that is a challenge. You have to be in the program 90 days. I'm writing S for simple, E for easy. IFT just wants to make sure you have been exposed to the methodology. You've been exposed to all the facets of the program. So 90 days. You have to, simple and easy again, you have to accumulate 100 trades on the platform. That's all. Bill, that's just a weekly drawdown. That's not bad, right? Again, you just don't want to spiral. You don't want to, start the program, try to accumulate. Think about it, Bill. Accumulate $3,000 and you're down 10,000 in a week. That's ridiculous. Why would a professional do that, right? So again, if you think like a professional, so 90 days, simple, easy. 100 trades, simple and easy. Here's one that is simple, but I'm going to be straight with you. It's in my opinion, the only challenge to graduation, accumulating $3,000. So in my mind, 90 days goes by no matter what. If you do 1 or 2 trades a day in the program, 100 trades are usually there in the 90 days. The only thing that's the challenge is accumulating $3,000. Done. And now you don't have to burn through your own money. You don't have to go through the wild swings, turning around to your spouse or significant others, as I had to do many times, and say, "Oh, I just blew another 25 grand." You what? Oh yeah, don't worry, but I'm learning. I'd much rather these days spend the $2,400, spend the $2,400, learn, be educated, have continuing education, have mentors who've graduated, have a methodology that has worked over time, be able to come to a place to meet and greet and be with fellow traders and ask questions, and hit a point that you accumulate $3,000 in simulated dollars, and now you have $50,000 of real live money to work with every day. So that's the graduation process. So we're really packing a lot in. Now, I purposely went to this set of slides because a few of you were asking, what trading instrument are we talking about tonight? What trading instrument? This is Forex, right? So let's talk about the benefits of trading Forex. Number one, the freedom of a 24-hour market, the freedom and flexibility of trading a 24-hour market. Number two, right? You can make your business hours whenever you want them to be. No need to, maybe the U.S. equity market opens up at 4 o'clock in the morning where you live, and you have to be up through the night and then go to work. No, 24-hour market. You don't chase the market. You let the market come to you, no matter how busy you are. As I always say, you could have a part-time job, a full-time job, be raising a young family and being night classes. You could still find a half hour a few times a week to do your Forex trading. Just turn off, well, I don't want to say YouTube, keep YouTube on, but turn off Netflix. So, next, unmatched market liquidity. If you trade the IFT way, liquidity is never an issue, and it's part of the style, it's part of the strategy. Not every currency pair is liquid, but if you trade the IFT way, it is. As far as unanswered questions, I said a few times, I did a couple of points of Q&A, but we will do the rest of the Q&A at the end. Stick around, save your questions. I will not leave until every question is answered. No gap issues with the 24-hour market. Very rare compared to equities. You can swing trade and day trade. You could do all the above like me, or you could be one style or the other. We concentrate on only 28 symbols. The best traders in the world concentrate. They concentrate. So, last but not least, momentum and trending in Forex is superior, I believe, to any other trading instrument, but particularly to equities. And I love equities. Nothing against equities. Oh, that's right, So Crew. As far as the program, no more depositing, right? Oh man, I just blew up another account. Where am I going to get the next 10,000? So, what time frames do we trade, right? Just very quickly, we believe there's nothing in Forex tradable under the 5-minute. So we trade the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 30, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. Now you could see why we day trade and swing trade. Plenty of opportunity to do so. Now, some of you say, whoa, hold on. Before the question shows up, hold on. I hear Oliver talk about the 2-minute time frame. That's equities. You can go as low as the 2-minute time frame in equities, but Oliver always says that the core day trading time frame is the 5-minute. In equities, when your skill gets better, you could drop down to the 2-minute. So, next, May I both swing trade and day trade? We already answered that. Yes. What if I'm not familiar with Forex? I always love when I get that question because I'm very proud of this. In the manual you get, the 300 plus page manual, the first chapter, the first couple of dozen pages, I am very proud of it. It is designed to take you from zero Forex knowledge to at least intermediate, better knowledge about the Forex trading instrument than 90% of the world or 95% of the world. So, what time frame do we trade? Answered that. May I swing trade and day trade? Answered that. What if I'm not familiar with Forex? Answered that. What are the symbols? Here is the IFT 28. If you're trading your own money and you're here just for the education, please take a screenshot of this. Please steal this because these are the most liquid pairs in the universe. What a service we're giving you here. Don't, as a professional, do not dwell in the land of illiquidity. Do not dwell in the land of illiquidity. Okay? So any pair that I showed tonight will be one of these 28. Where do we get the 28 pairs from? From the 8 major currencies: Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, Euro dollar, Great British pound, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar, and US dollar. Remember, everything you trade is a pair, right? I'm not going to belabor this right now, but think about this. If you trade equities, let's see, let's pick anything. AMD, right? Isn't AMD really AMD versus the US dollar? AMD versus the US dollar? Because everything in the US equity market is denominated in dollars. You don't have to put the second part of the symbol. So now already you could see even on the chart, right? A couple people are mentioning what Oliver taught. Really, he focused on 3 things on Saturday: color change with momentum. That's exactly what we did with the VSS I just showed. And power surges. Okay, we'll see if we could find any tonight. And then remember, think about how I went through that VSS. When, where, protect, and trail. Didn't I do all that? When did we enter? We entered when we had color change. Where? It was about the 3rd pivot. Protect, hard stop automatically went in with the entry. Trail, well, really haven't had opportunity to trail that yet. Once up, one risk unit, don't lose money. Still working towards that, still waiting towards that. All right, let's go look for some more trades. Once again, you're going to see a little bit of projector readjustment here. Juan, on the YouTube side, I hope these projector readjustments are not driving you crazy. And you know what? Let's drop down to the 5-minute time frame. And Juan, it's not a big deal. Most of the chart is showing, but I'll just read this out. It looks like for some reason on YouTube, the symbol is cutting out. Let me see. Maybe if I broaden the projector just a little bit, will it capture it then? We'll see. It doesn't really matter because I'll let you know the symbols and the time frames. So let's go look for some trades together. And let's drop down to some day trading on the 5-minute. There we go. Coming into better view there. All right. So New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar on the 5-minute time frame. Not the most beautiful chart in the world, but from an IFT perspective, we had a downtrend. Now, somebody asked, when does trend get broken? We have market law too. When one bar closes above the 20 moving average and another bar goes further. So at that point, the downtrend at that point, the downtrend was broken. And we are not in a confirmed uptrend yet, but it looks like momentum is going to the bullish side. Unfortunately, we have the mighty 200 overhead, right? The most significant support or resistance item in IFT land is the mighty 200. Okay, let's carry on. I'm going to start with the A's, the Australian dollar. Let's just keep working our way through the pairs and hopefully find a trade. You never know what the markets will give us. Monday, and let me show this. Those of you who were not here Monday, we had a really good day on Monday. We had another open house this past Monday. And we started the open house. We started the open house with a loser. That's that -1 risk unit. We work in what we call risk units, maximum dollar loss per trade. It all depends on what size trader you are. Is your risk unit $50, $100, or like Oliver, thousands of dollars he risk on every single trade? So with that, we had a few that were in the swing trading genre, like the 30-minute ones, these VBSs and VSSs, the color change ones. Then we had a few day trades. But think about it. In the end, we made about 4 risk units. There were no grand slams. It's beautiful when you get a home run or a grand slam. In baseball terms, we were striking out, right? -1 risk unit, that's a strikeout. Nice double. Then what I call a walk, your break-even trades, when the market is kind to you and you don't lose money. And then we had a few singles. We built a 4 risk unit day. Well, think about it. What if you were in the program and your risk unit is $100? Well, I think most of you already did the math in your head. That's a $400 day. Graduation is only $3,000. Now, every day will not be a 4R day. You'll have your winning days, your losing days. You'll have your break-even days. You'll have your small winning days, your huge winning days. But guess what? If you trade the IFT way, you will never have a huge losing day. Now, again, you're free to do whatever you want. A lot of people start like I did and make a lot of ridiculous mistakes. So, next, somebody says, has anybody in the chat actually graduated? There might be. We also have a Zoom room going where our current students are, Johnny, and I know there's definitely graduates there. And I've graduated both programs. So, possibly, but most of our students are in the Zoom room. Maybe there are some here, right? We're broadcasting internally over Zoom and externally via YouTube. So that is now, also, Johnny, think about it. Do you feel your skill is good enough to work with $50,000 a day and accumulate $3,000? Think about it. Here, I'll show it right here on the spreadsheet. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It does take work, Johnny and everybody else. It does take work. But let's say you're working with $50,000, right? That's your daily buying power. And do you think you can make at least $50 a day on average? Doesn't mean every day perfectly $50. Some days are winners, some days are losers, right? Some days are huge winners. You'll never have huge losing days if you trade the IFT way. So let's say you average $50 a day. Well, you have to make $3,000 to graduate. Okay, let's divide $50 a day into $3,000. Whoops, that didn't work out. What did I do wrong here? 3,000 divided by 50. That's 60 days, Johnny, right? Prentice says, I could make $50 a day. Now, it does take skill. IFT is not lying. How much junk out there do you hear? Oh, this is automated. 99% every trade wins. I just have never seen it. Again, I'm skeptical about that. But with that, 60 trading days is about 90 calendar days. So it is fathomable, Johnny. It is doable. It is simple, but it's not easy. It does take work. Okay, so enough of all that. You get a little bit of an idea how we look at risk management, and we talk in these terms, risk units. Oh, wow. Wow. I have to be straightforward. I would have not taken this trade because of the location of the 200. Some of our traders would have, and it would have worked like this. This is, again, those of you, the color change, the power surge, right? Dovetailing off of what Oliver showed. This is nonstop momentum, right? 4 green bars in a row, becoming rather large. Not a dramatic surge, but a surge. Then the RBI, trigger long here, put your stop right under the setup. This would be a money-making trade. I'm being honest with you, though. I wouldn't take it. I don't like the location of the 200. The Fab Four, right? Johnny, that's a little bit more advanced Oliver terminology, but look, I'm talking all about the Fab Four, right? You wouldn't take it into the 200. You would rather see all this setup with the Fab Four over the 200, right? So, once again, I love it, gang. I love how you're bringing, how I'm bringing Oliver terminology into it, how we're dovetailing to what he covered on Saturday. All right, let's keep going. We have so many more pairs we could look at. Huh. Oh, where did my symbols go? Oh, wait a second. Let me do a quick reboot here. And darn it, the projector went off too. Give me a moment. Let me refresh, bring up another simulator so you can see exactly what we use here, right? Okay, there we go. Again, I purposely have a couple of platforms here. We did have a little bit of a server issue yesterday, so I grabbed a couple of platforms. But I really want you to see what you work with. There were a few of you saying, well, what are you using? What's the platform look like? Well, you're seeing it right here. You're seeing it right here. So with this, we call this World Trade Forex. World Trade Forex. It's with a professional trading brokerage firm. You probably have never heard of World Trade Forex because it's specialized for us. We're a division. We have so many students there, and it's World Trade Forex. Now, with that, you see I have the 28 pairs here. Let me move over just a little bit more. I have the 28 pairs listed. So let's start walking through them. So thank you for your patience as I made that quick switch. As I mentioned, there was a little bit of a server issue. It was clear earlier, but for some reason I lost the symbols. So I refreshed it all, and now we have all the data back there. Usually, that's another thing. Usually, since we use professional systems and all that, if there's a little glitch, all you have to do is close out and reboot the platform, and usually you're golden again. So let's start rolling through these. Let me drop down to the 5-minute time frame again. You see it, just easy peasy, clicking between my time frames. And we'll stick with the 5-minute just from a day trading perspective. Maybe we'll find more activity here. So here, I'll call out the symbols just so you could see them. Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar. Interesting. Once again, we'll see what forms here. And I'm actually going to make a note of this. I'm definitely going to come back to this later. Even it's before I go to bed, right? Back above the 200, moving averages are starting to turn upwards. We'll see if we get a pullback into newly rising. Once again, just not thrilled with the 200 overhead. It's not the clean Fab 4. Looks like we're getting a lot of that, right? So these Australian pairs look bullish. Distance between the 20, definitely worthwhile coming back to, in my opinion. This one, Australian versus New Zealand dollar, no. Let's go to the Australian versus US dollar. I love that look. Now think about it. I come back and scan these later. Let me draw it in a little bit for you. Once again, I love this. I love this. This is what I call hunting for trades. People ask me what I do. I say I go hunting for IFT patterns. Now, I'm not predicting this will happen. You never quite know what will happen. But if the 20 moving average, right, the momentum is bullish, the 20 moving average should catch up. If the momentum remains bullish, the 8 moving average should continue. And we look for those pullbacks and those opportunities to take the VBSs, the Velez buy setup. But darn it, our obstacle of the 200, you have to be keenly aware of that. Okay, so that's the story on the Australian pairs. So hunting for trades really isn't that tough. If you have a trading plan and you have strategies that you follow, I consider it, this is old school. I know there's digital form of these, but I remember the old-fashioned flashcards in school, right? You just go through your flashcards. Well, that's how I go through charts. In about 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, if I'm really, really marking some things up on a chart or taking some notes, you go through them like flashcards. Okay, let's take a look at some Canadian pairs. And I'll get through a couple of Canadian pairs, and then I will pause for some questions. I promised that. I did a few in the beginning, but let's keep looking for trades and Q&A. Okay, even better here, even better. Now, from an IFT perspective, we have a confirmed uptrend. Not beautiful, decent, but not beautiful. Let me teach you another little secret. The closer you could get to 45 degrees in an uptrend, and we use the 20 as the main barometer, the closer you could get to a 45-degree angle, usually the more enduring that is. But once again, we have our surge, right? We wait for our pullback, then we wait for our trigger. That's simple. Over and over and over again. So now I see the question about brokerage coming up again. I just mentioned it a little while ago, the World Trade Forex, but it's a professional brokerage. You're not going to find it advertised on CNBC or something like that. Right, there you go, Chevy, right? World Trade Forex, yep. So I'll tell you what, right now, right now, I know some of you might have asked things before, but start posting questions. I will scan back right now, starting right now. I hate to make you repost, but here's the first one. You graduated, Mark, thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. You graduated and started with 50K, right? Where am I now? Um, ba Basically, Mark, uh, I like working myself with about $400,000 of daily buying power. Uh, I could get that boosted to probably a million or millions, but it's kind of a sweet spot for me. It's kind of a sweet spot for me. So Forex, more in the 800 to a million. Equities, I love being around 400, 500,000. Mark, you get to a point, it might be like, oh, I could have access to 10 million. Do you really need it? Do you really need it? The beauty is, whether it's 50,000 or 100,000, we have some of our graduates that do start at 100,000. There is an accelerated program, but once again, I'm just being very open with you. Please don't take this as being arrogant, but with a phone call, I could probably get millions of dollars of buying power by the morning. Again, I have the track record, I have the history, I have the access to the professional firms. But to be very straightforward, I'm usually working with hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Oh, so let me take these questions in order. Uh, are there some automated things you can do with the platform TP? The answer is yes. You're a little bit on your own. We teach the hard basics. There's a beautiful series of videos, but we do have people that are a bit more advanced, and they do their own thing also with it. So the answer is yes. I'm a little bit more plain vanilla, and believe me, I'm not frightened of technology. I was not the programmer. I was the methodology developer, but I used to help develop algorithms, right? We used to call them algos. Now we're calling them bots. So I'm not shy of the technology and all that auto trading and all that. But once again, I just move my trail, or you can do it, more in an automated fashion, and then I go to bed and sleep like a baby and see, what has happened overnight. Prentice, I don't know what CL is. Can you do CL, CL, CL? This is Forex. This is Forex. So I'm not sure what you mean by CL. It might be something that's obvious. So SFB, you're asking about the win and the risk versus reward. I love that you asked that. I just don't understand the context of it. That is a very important part of what we do. We teach two core statistics that everybody should track. You should stay on top of your batting average, which is basically just a percentage of your winners compared to your losers. And you should also stay on top of your reward versus risk ratio, right? It's the balance of the two. If your batting average is a little weaker, you better have a stronger reward versus risk ratio. If your reward versus risk ratio is weaker, you better have a stronger batting average. Apprentice, where do you? Oh, wait a minute. I want to really stay in order here. Oh, Paige, hunting takes a lot of time. No, Paige, look what I'm doing right here. I went through 7 pairs. What was that? 5 minutes? 5 minutes? No, no. This could be very fast and fluid, right? I go through my charts in less than 1 minute apiece. It does take practice, though. It does take practice. Okay, how do I feel with Forex spikes? Vespa, great question. We have what we call red news rules. We try not to get run over by the spikes. We're very defensive about them. And then once they're digested in the market, if we find opportunity, oh, oil is CL. Thanks, Juan. I forgot about that. See, I'm thinking Forex. I'm not thinking commodities. Prentice, thank you. We don't trade commodities in this program. That's why I'm thinking, does he mean CAD or CHF? I just wasn't, or COL for the Colombian peso. I had my mind in Forex. So with this, let me keep taking the questions in order. Then I want to go scan some more pairs. So Paige, here's my suggestion for you. You decide how much time you want to dedicate to it, Paige. Oh, I am available 1 hour a day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Go and scan your charts. There will be days you find nothing. There will be days you find more than you can handle. Bring the market to you. Don't let the market drain you. Where do you put your stop? Prentice, we use support and resistance areas. For example, here, let's only because it's in front of us, I could do this very quickly. Let's say somebody took the VBS back here. The entry long would be there, right? With the color change, green taking out red. IFT, for the most part, would say, hey, put it right underneath the support of the setup, right there. You're using the support of the setup itself and of the moving averages. Very straightforward. Very straightforward, Prentice. Good job, everybody. I love the diversity of the questions. I just love this stuff. Amber, what is the dollar index and how does it impact trading? There are indices of separate currencies. Remember, I said we work off of the 8 major currencies. The US dollar is one of them. One of them is an index. The dollar index is an indice that tracks the dollar, but that's not what we trade. We trade these pairs and these patterns. Don't overthink it, Amber. Don't overthink it. Frank, as I mentioned to Paige, you don't have to sit here all day long. You carve the hours out, you hunt your trades, and I'm going to be straightforward. There's days, I always say it's like going fishing, right? I live here, on the coast by the ocean, and I go out fishing occasionally. I did so much of it in my youth. It's really not a big attraction for me anymore, but I have my friends. They've spent $1 million on a boat, another $100,000 on fishing equipment, and then whatever, $500 to fuel up, and they go out and they catch nothing that day. And then there's days where they radio back like, send more boats. We're catching like crazy. So once again, Frank and Paige, you set your hours, and sometimes it is a dud. But I'm telling you, with the IFT methodology, look at that. How many of those Australian pairs did I say are worth going back to? Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. Okay, Pugman, when do you decide to cash in? Pugman, I love it. And it sounds like you had a little bit of my teaching. I love it, Pugman. Here's the rules that we say. And then I'll give you a little bit of advanced thinking how I approach it. Once up one risk unit, do not lose money. I don't care what you do, Pugman. I love your name, Pugman Plays. I'm just going to call you Pug. Pug, I don't care how you do it. Think about it. If you're up one risk unit, you can move the whole hard stop to break even. If you're up one risk unit, you could leave the original stop on the back half and take off half. That trade will no longer lose money. There's an infinite ways to obey that rule. Then when you're up 2 risk units, go home with money. It means no matter what happens, that trade's going home with money. Think about it. Everybody's waiting for new highs and these dramatic moves. In the IFT way, it just moves a little bit and all risk is off. It moves a little bit more, you're making money. Now, Pug, I'm not saying take off the trade after 2 risk units. I'm just saying whatever you do, maybe take off some of the trade, maybe tighten up the hard stop trail. But what I'm saying, what I would advise you is set it up so it will not lose money. But why not leave it on to see what it'll give you? Maybe take off half. The next move may be a mega move, and now you're up on the back half 8Rs, making 4 times more on average what the first half did. So I really encourage use the risk unit factors. Pug, I love the way you're thinking. Use the risk unit factors to protect yourself and lock in initial profit, but then let the chart go to work for you. Let your trail methods go to work for you. And we do teach a series of trail methods, right? Bar by bar break, break of the moving averages, break of pivots, all that classic support and resistance trailing. Okay, let me grab the next question. Uh-oh, I went way too far. Hold on. Okay, good. The questions are piling up. Let me move at a better pace here. Would it be okay to break even after 2 candles? Reyes, Carlos, you are on the right track, but combine that with what I just went over with Pug with the risk units, right? What if the candles are 2 itty bitty candles? You might need a 3rd candle. What if 1 candle is a giant and 1 candle you're up 7 risk units? Ooh, you better lock in sooner. Rocco, I love your name, Rocco. I used to have a wonderful dog named Rocco, and I'm not associating you with a canine. It was just a pet with an amazing, amazing disposition. So, Rocco, yeah, if you travel, you're trading Forex, right? Think about it. If you travel, you're trading Forex. I love that analogy. Uh, no beyond, you are absolutely right. One of the beauties of this program is that it trades 24 hours. It trades 24 hours. And you can make your business hours whenever you want. Let's see, Menda. I'm currently enrolled to complete your question. Uh, Menda, you're absolutely right. Nowhere in the world is there a licensing requirement for Forex. Nowhere in the world that I know of, at least, and we deal with every continent, is there a licensing necessity for Forex. Menda, you're a member of the equities program. I love this question, but unfortunately, this might frustrate you a little bit. It's a personal choice. Should you join both programs? I couldn't wait to join both programs. As soon as this program opened, I added it, right? And back then, what you're getting for a couple of $1,000s back then in 2008, 2010, the pricing was somewhere between $13,000 and $15,000. And my wonderful students have told me, Bill, have you ever adjusted that for inflation? You really paid $20,000 or what was it, $23,000 for this program that you get for about $2,000 now. So Menda, joining multiple programs. Menda, I'm not going to answer that directly, but I'm going to give you some guidance here so you could quiz yourself. Are you more like me where you like this methodology, you see the efficacy, you see that it does work, you see how dedicated everybody is, you love the community, you see the mentors who are and the moderators who are graduates themselves and they're so dedicated, and you want more of that, and by immersing more, in learning about other trading instruments, both equities and Forex, you can blossom better and more deeper and faster. That's the type of person I am. And there's, or another type of person, which is fine also. I line my ducks up in a row and I must achieve this, then go on to that, then achieve this and then go on to that, then graduate equities and then go on to this. It's a personal choice. For me, I couldn't wait for more exposure to the IFT methodology. I couldn't wait to be part of 2 trading rooms, not just one. I couldn't wait to be working on 2 graduations, not just one. Trade Girl. The first one I showed, it was a 1-hour time frame. But just to make it simpler for the presentation, the last several we were scanning 5-minute time frames. Warren, when Menda mentioned the exam, this changes a lot over the years. So they could come up with new rules tomorrow. But right now, to professionally day trade equities as a US citizen, there's a strong possibility you need to pass what's known as a Series 57 exam. Time. Yes, we use support and resistance. And time, watch this on this chart. Let me just erase this. Support and resistance. We basically use the moving averages, right? You really don't need more than that. But time, could I bring up, I won't bring up the tool, I'll just draw it. Could I use a channeling tool like that? Absolutely. Absolutely. If that helps you, go right ahead. Could I use, those Fibonacci retracement tools? Because we do trade based on Fibonacci mathematics. Sure, you can, and then it's a tool that looks something like that with all the levels. Absolutely you can. But do you need it? Based on the IFT methodology, these 3 moving averages do similarly or analogously. Let's see, do you have higher success trading higher time frames? I'm going to mess up your name. I'm going to say Elias. I think I'm right, Elias. It, again, depends on you. If you're trading the lower time frames like the 5-minute, you do have to develop some faster skills, right? Because bars are forming every 5 minutes. So if you're newer, sometimes you'll find some more consistency if you go up a time frame or 2. It's not as fast and furious. But after a while, I mean, I'm scanning charts in less than 1 minute. I see something, boom, I take the trade. Yeah, my consistency is pretty much across the board, whether I'm day trading or swing trading. Oh, okay. Somebody who asked about program graduates, a couple of them have stepped up here and said, hey, I graduated. Okay, so thank you for sharing, gang. Let's see, once you choose your program, pay the cost, you have to pay $100 also. Steve, yes, excellent point. There is a monthly membership fee. It covers everything. The technology, the rooms, the report generation, the data feeds, the platforms, the back office, the accounting, everything, Steve. But your amount is an approximation. It depends on the program and it depends on the part of the world you live in. IFT is always trying to drive that down. IFT subsidizes that. And there is a scale depending on the program you're in and the part of the world you're in. Oh, the payout, everybody. I'm pretty sure I hit upon this, but don't forget, depending on when you enroll, the payout could be as much as 60% to you. when you graduate, right? There's the bonuses. Ah, Yennefer, thank you for asking. I mentioned it very early on. Somebody asked the same question early. We made the Forex trading room, the swing prop Forex trading room hours the following: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, also 4 p.m. Eastern. Arturo, my esteemed co-moderator, does 7:30 a.m. I do 4 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern time. The universal language at IFT is Eastern time. We have a global audience, so we always say Eastern time, so everybody knows what we're talking about. So Yennefer, there's 2 sessions a day, and we purposely do it as bookends to the U.S. equity market because most of our swing prop members also trade U.S. equities. So it's a wonderful blend. If you do only one or the other, fine. If you do both, the day flows from one to the other. And if you notice, it sort of builds in a 3-day weekend also. And our members like that, whether they want to take the time off and they don't feel like they're missing anything, or if they want to do some studying or trading on their own. It's a beautiful, beautiful blend, Jennifer. Thank you for asking the question. Rocco, thanks for amplifying what I was saying about trend and support and resistance. Oh, wow. A lot of more and more of you are putting your accolades and thumbs up. You're a member. This has been worth it. I've graduated. Johnny, I just mentioned the hours. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That's Arturo. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's me. There's a break from the trading room for like a 3-day weekend, so you don't feel like you miss anything, and or you can go and do some work on your own if you want to. Paula, thank you. Thank you again. Carlos, Paula, Chevy, Valentina, Omar, thank you for jumping in there and helping some people. Damachi, professionals do not use mobile technology. I would advise if you're traveling around, and I do this a lot, I travel a lot, mostly up and down the East Coast of the United States. You heard that I was in Colombia 2 weeks ago. I always have my laptop with me. I always have my laptop with me. Professional trading is predominantly PC based, but and I know the team's going to get angry with me. We are experimenting with some mobile technology now. We think it might be coming of age. I know in a lot of areas of life, it's like, you got to be kidding me. But no, pros, you don't have a market maker sitting there on their telephone in a subway station. they're at their workstation. So anyway, Damachi, that's the answer. Eastern time, Horatio. Oh, Paige, I'm glad you liked the presentation. Oh, Peter, you've been to the Outer Banks. Peter, I'm very open with my students. If I am in town, I'm more of a morning person, but if I am in town and you're vacationing here, let's say within 30 miles, I would love to meet with you for coffee. There's been numerous times, gotten together with a half a dozen people that happen to be vacation. This is a big vacation area. Been here vacationing, and I've grabbed a table at a coffee shop and have bought a few rounds of coffee for all of us as we're trading and talking. Would love that anytime. If I'm in town, I am out of town a lot. I travel a lot. That's part of the beauty of trading, right? Oh my goodness. When I was a chief financial officer, I couldn't take my work everywhere. I know the world's has changed a little bit. Music, no, the study sessions are not just Q&A. When we meet in the room, most of it is trading. If you think about it, I'm kind of trying to emulate the room here. It's a little bit different with hundreds or, throughout the course of the evening, thousands of people throughout the world. But you notice we scanned some charts, we looked at some trades, we're answering questions now. I did a little teaching. That's pretty much what we do all the time. Eric, how many trades do I handle simultaneously? Again, that's a personal thing. It depends on, how you're wired as a person. I'd say I could easily be in 2 or 3 in equities and 2 or 3 in Forex simultaneously at the same time and not lose my mind, be able, put my hard stops in Forex, hit my hotkeys in equities. Now, just Forex, maybe a few at a time, right? I'm doing a few day trades and maybe I have a few swing trades that are going for a few days. How much is the most I've ever had on at one time in this program? Maybe 10, right? There, a couple of day trades going and then some swing trades that just wouldn't give up. They were just going, going, and going. Let's see. I see, Gloria, you're asking men to open outside of this channel. If you join the program, all our members are there to help each other. Because of this week, we have a lot of people joining. There, our veterans are helping the new people right and left, as I'm helping them also. Johnny, AI trading, yeah, but it's such a new technology. Why not blend the two? Why not blend the two? And if you're very versed in AI, why don't you bring that skill to your manual trading, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've been going deep down the AI rabbit hole. I'm just loving it. But I also love bringing up my charts and hitting my hotkeys and equities or clicking my mouse in Forex. Why are they mutually exclusive? Elias, yes, if you're working higher time frames, your distance between your entry and your stop probably will be more pips. But we teach you how to properly position size no matter what the time frame. You know what? Let's take a look at the Canadian versus. Man, you guys are doing better than me. When I switch gears and I go to Q&A, you're nailing it, right? The VBS just triggered on the Canadian versus the Swiss franc. Let's again, just so I could really honor my commitment and answer the questions. Look at you, a visitor, nailing the trade. I love it. I was glancing back and forth, but I got so into the conversation and the questions. And I love that narrow range. Oh my goodness. Think about it, everybody. Stop there. You see this real time in action while we're just chatting it up here. Entry there. Whoops, I meant for that to be green. Right? Green is the buy action. And you know what? Since it was already, I'll use yellow. Now, you might have the spread here on the 5-minute. That might be a little bit in your way too, right? The nuance of Forex with the spreads. But you were already up one risk unit. I'd be very interested in possibly taking risk off that trade. I'd be very interested in taking risk off that trade. So who was that? Who caught that while I was answering questions here? Aku, great job, Aku. Let's see how that works out. You know what? Let's say up 1R, don't lose money. D, does the IFT, wait, Judy, we already mentioned World Trade Forex, but you will not find it anywhere, Judy. Here's what you will find. And most of you probably noticed already who know Forex. A lot of you know Forex. We use Trading View charts as part of the platform, Judy. So there's the symbol for Trading View, probably the most popular Forex charts. MetaTrader used to be the rage, but MetaTrader, in our opinion, we loved them for 15 years, but they kind of fell apart. Now TradingView seems to have filled that gap nicely. Pardon the gap IFP trading pun. So D, does this work with oil? The core IFT methodology works on any trading instrument, but you must learn how to incorporate it with the trading instrument. That's why we have a separate equities and Forex program. I'm going to call you Wei, maybe An Wei. I apologize if I'm not getting the name right. If you use a hard stop, yes, you have to account for the spread, but we use the 28 most liquid pairs. Not all the time, but usually we're just dealing with spreads somewhere between 1 and 5 pips, right? So on the 1 hour time frame, you barely even notice the spread. Now think about it. No commission though, right? Ooh, here's a tip for you. If you trade professionally, don't pay commissions in Forex. Our only cost is the spread. Frank, do you wait for the candle? Do you wait for the candle to stop before your entry? No. As soon as it triggers, you enter. All right, everybody. I hate doing it this way. I love giving them myself, but let me speed up with the questions and let's see if we can do a little bit more scanning. Steve, you're welcome. I'm glad I answered the question. Oh, Steve, let me answer the question this way. I, I hate seeing conflict and world conflict and what's going on in the Middle East or the Ukraine. You know, um, I'm very close to people that were experiencing the horrors. In between Uganda and Rwanda. All that sort of stuff. I hate that stuff. But Steve, it doesn't impact my trading. A chart is a chart. A pattern is a pattern. A trend is a trend. A momentum is momentum. Let me put it this way. For it to get so bad that the markets go away, then I have much bigger worries in life than my trading. And I don't mean that to sound like a wise guy, but technical trading doesn't matter, what the Fed is doing, what this is that. You just come every day and you trade your patterns. Oh, everybody, thank you for the kind compliments. You like it, me too. This is great. Let's see. Lynn, are we focused on holding trades overnight? This is a swing program and a day trading program. You could day trade and go flat every day and or swing and hold overnight, and we cover and teach all of it. Somebody's bringing up Onada. That's a platform and all that. I am fine with any other retail platforms, but that's not professional trading. We would, so once again, where you trade your own money, that's fine. There's a lot of good stuff out there and some clunky stuff. So I'll put it this way. In recent years, I've heard nothing bad about Onada, but I would rather use the professional platforms that we use. I know it's real bank feeds. I know it's real time. I know my executions are real time, on and on and on. Johnny, you see, that's absolutely it. If you're an AI dude like me, use the AI along with your manual skills. It's an amplifier. I love it, Johnny. Why am I not using volume? Because we don't use volume. We don't use volume in the methodology. And I purposely keep the core methodology, the candlesticks and the three moving averages. It can be this simple. Elias, it's what we were saying, the color change. Subsequent bar took out a prior bar. So this would have been a break-even trade. Let's see if we get another trigger or another setup. So far, not tearing up the world, but we've had a couple of break-even trades here. Think about it. We're not losing money. Prentice, how do I use AI? In multiple ways. That would be a whole nother get together, but not really anything applicable, to what we're doing. All right. It looks like I'm caught up on questions. Glor, you have to give me some at least Glor, one other thing. You gave me your bias, you gave me the pair. What time frame, Glor? What time frame? So, Prentice, while Glor is saying that, I'm setting up agents. I'm doing deep research. I'm using it to help me write my next book. On and on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. Okay, let's take a look at it on both of them. So look at this. Our guests are bringing trades to the room. Very generous of you. Glor, I'm with you. Now, I'm going to be blunt, not the prettiest chart in the world. Okay, this is the US dollar versus the Japanese yen on the 15-minute. You are right. Not the prettiest chart. Now, I'm not knocking it, but did you have a former uptrend here? Yes. But look how it was perpetually broken. Okay? Look how it's maybe a 30-degree angle. We prefer now Glor, what I'm trying to say is you're spot on. You took a DSS on a downtrend. I'm just trying to throw in a little bit more accelerated stuff here too. So now I believe there was somebody mentioned, how do you handle these, crazy bars all of a sudden? That's why we use hard stops. That's why we're so big on defense first and only losing more than one risk unit. Even if you're smacked upside the head with all of a sudden crazy movement, okay, you might have a little slippage, but nothing crazy because we have real-time data. We have the hard stops in place. All right, so here's what Glor is doing on this chart in IFT terms. And Glor did a great job. We had a former uptrend. Then we obviously had some news announcement. Then we went sideways. And now, right, we pretty much took out the sideways. We created a new lower low, a new lower high, and we took out the lower low. And that's confirmation of trend according to market law too. And look what's happening. Our moving average is starting to catch up. And then Glor waited patiently. Glor waited patiently for the color change, right? What Oliver covered the other day, for the color change. And from an IFT perspective, you would put your stop over the setup. Now, some people are asking about support and resistance. Could you also, as an alternate stop, put it over the 20, give yourself another resistance item? Sure, sure. So then, though, here's what Glor actually did, right? In IFT terms. Do I truly know exactly what Glor did? No. But Glor is talking about IFT patterns. We're talking IFT patterns. Your stop would be over the setup. Now that's a pretty tight bar there, Glor. You might have had a little bit of issues with the spread. You might have had to make it a little bit wider. But I would say in IFT terms, you should be focused on the distance to the 200. But oh my goodness, if this made it back to the 200, you're racking up multiple risk units. If you, I would say you're definitely up one risk unit. This should not lose money. Look at the emphasis all the time on not losing money, not losing money, not losing money. Let's see. So Glor, thank you for that. Thank you for the trade. We'll keep an eye on it as I answer these other couple of questions. Johnny, if you're part of the program, I would love for you to reach out to me. I would love to, hear what you're doing in AI. I just love it. You're welcome, Glor, but thank you. Here I am. We did some scanning, we did some trading. I'm able to answer questions, and you bring IFT trades here too. I thank you. Oh, Bob, excellent question. We went over that earlier. Worth repeating. This methodology has efficacy for decades in just about every trading instrument on every time frame. But you have to learn how to utilize it on the particular trading instrument. So as I mentioned before, I know this is tough for some of you, if you're just a futures trader or you're an equities options trader, but we actually use this in Forex for day trading and swing trading on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, the 30-minute, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute. And it has efficacy on all of them. Here, I'll tell you what. I don't think he'll mind me mentioning his name. He's been a member of the program as long as I've been. He used to spend some time on the microphone. His name is Demetrius. Demetrius travels. I travel up and down the East Coast constantly. He travels the world constantly. He exclusively in this program trades the weekly and the daily. He sets up his trades on the weekly and daily, gets on a cruise for 10 days, maybe checks in on them with the onboard internet a couple of times while he's island hopping or doing whatever. There's other people that only day trade the program. I do all the above. Carlos, can you take 1/3 the trade 1-to-1? Sure, right? Well, no. You would also have to adjust your stop, right? Think about it, Carlos. You have your original stop. You're up 1R. You're up 1-to-1. You only take off 1/3 and do nothing else you leave the other 2/3 on, that is still a losing trade according to IFT. Here, let me share this with you. I love how we're jumping from actual trading and education with the trading. We have 5 rules of risk management. Carlos, and this is what seems to be your working out for yourself. And I admire what you're doing. I admire what you're doing. Okay. Let me see. Where's those 5 rules of risk management? Here they are. So the first 3 are pure defense. They're all about cutting your losses short, right? The most famous saying in trading. Never lose more than 1 risk unit. Never add to a losing trade. Always honor your hard stop. The last 2, they really are the beginning of your trail methods. They are there to help your winners run. Once up 1 risk unit, don't lose money. So Carlos, if you're up 1-to-1, you take off 1/3, but you leave the last 2/3 with the original stop, you're still in a position of losing money. What if you just moved your trail a little bit? Now you'll probably be in a position where you can't lose money. I love that this is clicking for you, Carlos. And this is all for free. Can you imagine the education we do live, real time in the trading room? Pug, excellent question. Here's how I answer it. How do you and Pug, I'm gonna summarize. What if you have slippage? Okay, Pug, what if you have slippage? How does that work with the risk unit? Pug, I'm at a point where I don't even care about 1 or 3 pips worth of slippage. It's basically, thank you, Chevy. Thank you. It basically, that's been my gift back to IFT and the students. I took this concept of the risk unit and I boiled it down to these 5 bullet points. So thank you, Chevy. That's a big compliment from you. I appreciate that. So, admire, thank you for your gratitude. You're quite welcome. Con mucho gusto, as my esteemed Colombian members and Colombian team members say. So, back on point with slippage. It is, if you stay with the IFT 28 pairs, for the most part, it's inconsequential, Pug. But Pug, with a little bit of math, you could account for it in the risk unit. You could account for it and include it in a factor. It's not material though, right? Let me put on my CFO hat, my old CPA hat. It's immaterial for the most part. But if you want to be a bit more like an engineer or mathematician and account for it, sure. Pull it into the simple calculation. How do you manage weekly and daily? The same way, Prentice, the same way. You look for the same patterns. Now, here's what I think you might be saying, Prentice. This is a little bit more advanced, and I don't want to go too far. We teach this. You might say, oh, you have to go flat at 5 p.m. Eastern. How do you handle things going into the next week? Well, it's quite possible. You're welcome, Pug. It's quite possible that a trade on the daily or weekly is done within this week before 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday. But what about this, Prentice? What about this? You go flat on Friday because that's the rules in the program. You come back Sunday night or Monday morning and the trade is still working. Well, do the little bit of math and continue. So really, you can day trade, swing trade, and with a little bit more focus, hold trades even longer. what was working last week may continue into next week. Just use the methodology we teach, use the position size we teach, and continue. Why should it be like, what were those two movies? Groundhog Day, where every day was a new day. The person had no memory of the day before, right? No, no, no. Or what was that? 52 first dates? No, remember where you left off last week. It may be paying you more. Oh, Francis, outside the US, we have students in every continent except Antarctica. I know there's military installations in Antarctica, but I don't think anybody really lives there. So, and Francis, if you were here in the beginning, people were very kind. We had people, even tonight, people tuning in from Africa, from Asia. You saw the people from Australia. We have Abhinav was checking in from India. All right, everybody. Wow, I can't believe I thought we were going about 1 hour. We've been going 2 hours. Prentice, yeah, let's get back to this trade. Let's see if it was break even or if it's still working. Okay, another break even trade. So this is one of these sessions, but I know some of you, this is going over your head, but let me reinforce this. Let me reinforce this. We had a small winner, a break even, a break even, a break even. Oh my goodness. Most of you, if you really think about it, would be thrilled if your trading day truly went like that and not be little winner, wham. I just took a $5,000 hit. Thank you, Dad. Okay. Oh, everybody, you're quite welcome. Deep, thank you. And Deep, what I'm noticing, Deep, very, very quickly, then we're going to go scan a couple of charts, and then I'll wind down. Okay, Johnny, good job. Good job. You're finding, some consistency and things are holding. All right, very quickly. Please don't, I really hope I exhausted questions. Don't flood me, but get your last minute questions in there. I really wanted to go an hour and a half. We're now into 2 hours. I said I would stay until every question is exhausted. I have done that, but if there's some last minute questions, get in there. We will go scan a couple more charts randomly. You have Camilo and Chevy and Paula and Valentina and Omar in here to help you out. Here, let me do this. Let me put their contact information, and I put it in the room a couple of times. Guys, if you want to also put it in yourself, I know you like doing that sometimes. So once again, take a quick screenshot of that. Yes, Chevy, you know me, I can go another 2 hours. Don't tempt me. Frank, what's the rule about the 200? In IFT land, the 200 is the most significant support and resistance item. That's why you heard me say over and over again, like, oh my goodness, decent setup, but watch out, the 200 is overhead. We might have a little bit of a resistance issue there, or a lot of resistance issue. Oh, great, Johnny, $4,000 day. Good job. That's nothing to sneeze at. Johnny, you're obviously engaged. You like the methodology. Your questions have been wonderful. You're into AI. Use half that profit and join us today. So you could be in the room and we could talk not only trading, but AI. Johnny, I love that. I agree with you. The sooner you could take off risk, the sooner you could take off risk, the better. That's where most people mess up. Most people take on too much risk. All right, everybody, we are starting to dwindle in numbers. So let me wrap up on the Q&A portion. And I don't care. I don't care if there's 5 people here. I'll keep going. Oh, Golden, I might have just missed it. Do you mind reposting it? Again, I do the best that I can. I do the best that I can. It wasn't avoiding it. I must have just missed it. Just repost it. Johnny, I answered a bunch of your questions. Oh no, Johnny, you're talking about risk. That's right. Is the 20 AMA bullish and the 200 is not? No, Frank. Here, another really quick lesson. Another really quick lesson. Here, let's do this on the whiteboard. Okay. So, who was it? Was it Frank? Yeah, Frank, you're asking about the moving averages. Okay. Here is what IFT likes the best, right? We usually use red for the 200. And blue for the 20. And usually yellow or orange for the 8, just so everybody knows what's going on. The way these are lined up right now is what we call a super, all right, SPT, super power trend. In the sense that the 8 and 20 are nice and smooth and parallel on a beautiful 45-degree angle. And the 200 is below lending support and not getting in the way. So it's not that, one of them is bad and the other is good. It's how the momentum is working. And I can tell you, if you see this, the odds are very high. I won't use candlesticks. I'll use a black marker. The odds are very strong. Your price action is skipping along doing something like that. Oh my goodness. Buy opportunity, buy opportunity, buy opportunity. Everybody, let me get back to screen sharing for a moment. And really, in wind down, definitely get in your last minute questions if you have any. If you join, that's marvelous. Obviously, we probably hit near 1,000 people earlier. I know this is a later hour. Most of our stuff is usually like Saturday mornings and stuff. So again, thanks for being here. Thanks for spending the time. And I know, throughout the evening here on the East Coast, we had up to 1,000 people. Now we're down to about 400. So obviously, you are the 400 that are really interested. So let's do this. And I do see some last minute questions coming in. Let's just look at a couple more random pairs. US dollar versus Canadian dollar on the 5-minute. Nothing here, right? Dead sideways. Nothing for an IFT trader. Let's see. Somebody mentioned the euro versus the US dollar. Dead flat on the 5-minute. Let's see the Great British Pound versus the Canadian. Might be waking up a little bit, but still too flat on the 20 for me. Do you see? I enjoy this. Some of you that are saying, oh, I'm worried about the time. I look at this, turn off Netflix, and just click through your chart. Oh, right here. Look, what is this? Great British Pound versus the Swiss franc. A VBS just triggered there. Entry there, stop under there. Now, um, the trend is fairly new. I don't like that we have this former pivot high, but if we could get up to there, it's multiple risk units. Do you see how much of this is repetitive again and again? How many times did we just click on a chart and find the pattern? Right, Chase? Just take it. All right. Orion, what time frame is the best time frame? The one you like the best. And I'm not being a wise guy, Orion. It truly is. Are you more of a swing trader and you love those higher time frames? Are you more of a day trader and you love the lower time frames? Are you more like me? I'm just looking for IFT patterns. I don't care what the time frame is. Oh, everybody, you're welcome. Thank you for all those kind words. All right, give me a moment. Let me look back here. I did promise to grab a couple of extra questions. Johnny, it's not Oscar, it's Oliver. Oliver invented this methodology. My name is Bill. I've known Oliver, I can't believe it, 25, 1999, almost 30 years, between 25 and 30 years. I joined his organization in 2008. I graduated all the programs by 2010. I was asked to start teaching this. I avoided teaching because I'm an introvert by nature, but Oliver pursued me for a couple of years, and I agreed to start teaching it in 2012. He really convinced me. It was probably time that I start giving back and share with the community, and I never looked back. Christian, let's look at the Canadian versus Swiss franc. Christian, I need a time frame though. I need a time frame. So maybe give it to me the time frame. Menda, yes, reach out to Chevy. Chevy, if a bonus could be worked out, believe me, Chevy, Paula, Camilo, Valentina, they'll get it for you. Wow, Judy, thank you for the kind compliment. Everybody, I'm really focused on questions. So if I'm not acknowledging your compliment directly, I apologize. I'm really focused on the questions. How does the $50,000 get in your practice platform? It's simulator dollars, right? It's just your buying power. Now, Rancan, you might be thinking like you're funding yourself. You're not. The organization puts up the capital for you after the graduation. The organization establishes your simulator platform. The only difference is it's exactly the same professional platform. The only difference is it's simulator dollars. So it's all set up for you. It's buying power. You're probably thinking like you have to make a deposit. Where do I get the leverage? No, the leverage is infinite. You do not put up risk capital when you graduate. Eric, I need a time frame. So those of you giving me pairs, please give me time frames. I'll definitely, unless like you give me, 40 of them, I'll try to get to all of them. Oh, everybody, Chevy, Omar, Camilo, Paula, Valentina, thank you for helping. Damachi, you're always welcome. This is my honor. Thank you for taking, again, the most valuable everybody, in my opinion, if you follow Oliver, I agree with him. The most important the most valuable asset in the world is your time. The second most important is Bitcoin. Now, if you haven't been orange pill and you don't care about Bitcoin, so be it. Orion, we don't play commodities in this program. We play Forex pairs. On the daily, Kristen, We don't trade the 2 minutes, so I'm not going down to the 2 minute. Kristen, I'll take a look at it on the daily. Canadian versus Swiss franc. First off, I think it looks awesome on the 15-minute, right? This would have been a winning trade on the 15-minute. This would have been a winning VBS. But let's go to the daily. Kristen, now you do whatever you do. I don't like this from an IFT perspective. We had beautiful, beautiful bullish momentum, but now we're stuck on the 200. I think it was Frank that was asking about the moving averages on the 200. This is what we try to avoid. Almost think it like the planets. White, I think that's a compliment. I'm the bomb. I'm a diddly bomb. Okay. So I think it was Frank, right? I look at the 200 like it's the sun in the universe. It's a great gravitational pull. When you get into a situation like this, where you're smack on the 200, look how it slowed everything down. Look how the bars went nowhere. Look how the 20 is starting and the 8 are losing their mojo, their momentum. Benny, in short order, I'm going to tell you what the pros would tell you, Benny. Very important. You're trading your own money with $5,000. Not being a wise guy, Benny, you may want to consider, carving out a couple of $1,000 and joining a program like this so you get everything you need, plus $50,000 of buying power. But anyway, Benny, here's the story, Benny. Here's the story. The pros would tell you, if you're now, everybody, remember, you're not trading your own money in this program. Benny's asking if he is trading his own money. The pros would say never risk more than 2% of your risk capital on any single trade. But you're probably even better keeping it to 1% or less. So, Benny, if you think about it, you should probably be risking no more than whatever you choose as your risk unit, $50, $75, $100. That's how you should do it. So it's not about lot size, right? The pros are more about what is my maximum dollar loss, and then you position size appropriately. Benny, I'm just being very honest with you. In all my years at this, when I see a trader that uses fixed lot size, I know I'm probably looking at a consistently losing trader. Please don't take that as an insult, because it's about fixed dollar amount, not about fixed lot size. Benny, this conversation alone, in my opinion, is probably the most important trading conversation you'll have in your life. Get away from fixed lot. Get to fixed maximum dollar loss. And believe me, Benny, if you join this program, or if you're part of it already, you saw it. It's in the top of what we do. We constantly talk about developing a professional trader psychology. Nobody's a natural born trader. We talk about the mental game and the psychology all the time, and we teach you how to have perfect risk management. It's up to you to implement it. Orion, which is better, gold or Bitcoin? That's a personal choice. I believe Bitcoin myself. I believe of its many utilities, it's also digital gold. But it is more flexible because it's digital. But once again, that's my opinion, Benny. I'm not giving investment advice here. I'm just sharing my own opinion. I have nothing against gold. Like Oliver teaches, like Oliver teaches, hasn't everything in mankind gone digital and gotten better? Hey, Ty, you are now a premium member of this channel. Congratulations. So, you know, music, it's gone digital and gotten better. Movies, they've gone digital and gotten better. Your banking, it's gone digital and gotten better. Well, is it could now this is just one of the aspects of Bitcoin, only because you brought up gold. A lot of people look at it like digital gold and feel it's better. Kristen, that's why we don't trade the 2 minute. It's actually for a positive reason. There is so much liquidity in the Forex market. It's the way we could trade it for 24 hours a day without any liquidity problems. But below the 5 minute, it's just too much noise. Victor, we covered that earlier. Onata is a retail platform. I've never used it. I have never heard anything bad about it, but we use professional tools here. We use professional tools here. All right, let me scan for any other questions. I really am going to wind down. I just can't believe we've gone 2.5 hours. Yeah, Orion, we trade Forex, not commodities. Damachi, thank you for recognizing my passion for teaching. Jed, excellent point, right? Here's how we summarize the time frames. I scan all of them when I'm looking at a pair. It only takes me, I could probably, if I'm really pushed, do it in 1 minute, right? Like flashcards. And then I find a pattern. The most important time frame is where you find the pattern. It's the time frame you're trading. The second most important one is the next one higher. You just kind of make sure that you're not in any sort of entanglement or anything, anything that's working against your trade one time frame higher. If you're new, I'd just be happy if you focused on your current time frame and not get too scattered. Great British Pound versus New Zealand dollar on the 5 minute. Let's go take a look at it. Oh, this to me is becoming interesting. Who put that? Was that Frank? Now, Frank, this is me. This is me and the way I use the IFT methodology. We had a downtrend, then sideways, and now we have an uptrend. But darn it, I'm at the 200. I would probably be patient. If it does, Frank, I'd be patient and I'd wait for price action to get up here, start getting away from the 200, because what else will be happening by then? The moving averages will start clearing. Now we're in super power trend territory. So, Frank, I am not predicting that will happen, but I would keep this on my radar. I'd come back and check 10, 15 minutes later and say, oh, okay, we're really starting to clear the 200. The 20 is catching up. I'm pulling back in the 20. There we go. We had our surge, right? What Oliver taught. We had our pullback. Now we have our color change. So, Frank, from an IFT perspective, definitely a chart to keep an eye on, in my opinion. Michael Anthony. TIGR. I don't know what that is again. My head right now is so much in Forex. I'm not sure what you're bringing up there, Michael. Okay, I answered Kristen's question. I answered Victor's question. Tomas, you're getting a lot out of this. Thanks, gang. Like I said, we hit near 1,000 people. People got a lot of stuff out of it. People signed up for the program and left. Stuff like that. People had to go to bed, but I might be overdoing it a little bit, but it's my nature. You several hundred people that are sticking around. I know you're serious, and I want to really honor you and make sure I cover everything for you. Kristen, the 20 and 200, yes, you said it as the simple moving average according to IFT. Well, that's interesting. You said the daily, right? I'm pretty sure. I hope I grabbed the right time frame there. Kalor, we're covering Forex here. Okay, all caught up with questions again? Let's bounce around a little bit more and then call it a night here. Now, don't forget, at your request, I've put it up here 2 times. Let's put it up here a 3rd time. Here's all the wonderful people that can help you. They're here in the room right now. Yeah, I'm bouncing around so many screens here. I just need to readjust the projector. My bad. Actually didn't have to move it. That was my bad there. I already had this up here. Okay. Again, thanks for coming to the open house. And this is what a couple of you were asking for. So let me put that up there again. You have Chevy, Camilo, Valentina, Paula, and Omar here to help you. This is the current pricing. Again, a couple of you asked, what do you mean you paid 15,000? I forget. I think equities, I paid 15,000. Oliver always said he would drive down these price points as IFT grew. So what I paid, I think 13,000 for this program, 15,000 for the sister program, is now about $2,000. Is now about $2,000. That's this core program. If you want the 1 year, I call it the sampler, right? The 1 year access, just to test it out. There's that. And if you want everything, even the live camps that we do, that's the center one. So think about it. You join the program, you're part of the community, you're getting used to it, and then boom, like professional sports, we're in a 1 week intensive camp together. That's the combined package. Compare this to any other education out there with what you get. Any other education, gang, whether it's college education where you're not guaranteed to have a job or a business. Here, you graduate. Will everybody graduate? No. Some people decide it's just not for them. But with that, if you do graduate, now you have a funded trading business. It's amazing. So, well, Peter, that's a kind compliment. You like my teaching style, if you're asking that question. But let me go in order here, Peter. Since I already referred to you, Oh, somebody already put in some more pairs here. So as I wind down, let's see. South Africa's in the house. We had every continent here except Antarctica tonight. Oh, Nixon, thank you very much, Nixon. Right, marathon session, right, Nixon? I had 3 hours in the equities room on the microphone. I had an hour with our swing prop forex traders. Now, what is this? We are going 2.5 hours. And I'm a morning person. This is burning the midnight oil for me. Fred, you're quite welcome. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. Yes, yes. A lot. I know we lost a lot of the crowd because people had to go to bed, which I'll be doing also. I'm going to go use my inverter machine, which I love. If you don't know what that is, Google it and then sleep like a baby. Damachi, let me get to that pair last. That'll be the last one I get to. It looks like you're probably saying some of our early triggers that we were looking at, or some of our early patterns from earlier in the Australian trigger. Mr. J, we covered that earlier. Let me say approximately the monthly membership fee for everything, the rooms, the technology, the data feeds, the accounting, the report generation, the back office, on and on and on, is about $100 a month. It definitely depends on the level of the program and what part of the world you're from. Somebody like Chevy or Camilo or Valentina or Paula or Omar, their contact information is here. They could scope that out for you individually, specifically, and directly, JJ. Oh, Peter, again, thank you for the compliment. Peter, I don't mean to be a wise guy. I know I've used that phrase a few times, but if you join the program, you'll get me just about every day. But we do this YouTube stuff for swing prop forex about 4 times a year. It's like a quarterly thing. But Peter, I don't like announcing things prematurely. Oliver has twisted my arm for years, you know, you know to you know to get out there and start broadcasting more. So where I am located right now, my North Carolina office, on the other side of the world, I'm building again. I'm not talking, like Viacom or anything, but I'm building, or like old school like CBS or like or Mr. Beast. Uh, Although I actually went out to Mr. Beast's facilities to take a look at it and see how he's set up out there. So with that, I'm building my own little broadcast studio here. So you might be seeing a bit more about me and my IFT journey and my trading journey on YouTube. So thank you for asking, Peter. But right now, this program, we do this approximately quarterly. Oh, excellent, John. That's excellent. Glor, I know we have students in the Czech Republic. I'm going to be very straightforward. Not many. Now, I don't know the demographics on everybody, but I know we have had some people from the Czech Republic, but I don't remember many of them. And I don't know if anybody here is from the Czech Republic. They would have to let you know right here. Oh, Steve, I mean, come on. No, Steve, that's very kind of me. What I didn't even see any of the earlier heckling, right? In the beginning, I purposely wanted you to put a face with the name and show you that, this was not AI, this was a real person. I even came on, right? I spilt my water before like at 5 minutes before and my shirt was wet. So I probably deserved a little bit of heckling. But come on. I mean, right? You know, people, you know, they have nothing better to do but, tune in at the very beginning and bust chops. Yeah, let them have their fun. Let them have their fun. Chevy, your son loves Mr. Beast. Well, the way I approached trading, Chevy, I went with who I thought was one of the greatest educators in the trading world, that being Oliver. Well, as I'm building out my little YouTube studio here, I figured Mr. Beast's headquarters is 2 hours away from me. I drove there and I walked around and I was approached by security and I explained what I was doing. So they said, "Okay, you can't be here unescorted. Let's show you around." Hey, what's going on, sir? It's great to see you. That's right, we're live. Oh yeah, you haven't been in the room lately. Where have you been? Welcome back. Peter, you're in North Carolina also. Newport Beach, California, Johnny. That's some nice beach. Your beach is much different than my beach here. My beach is much more calmer, smoother. Uh, Abe, there were a couple of people at the very beginning at 9 o'clock from Nigeria that said hello to each other. I don't know if they're here anymore. They might have signed off. That's tell you Chevy, tell your friend that story. He'd probably get a kick out of it. Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. I did say I was going to get back to one of the pairs you mentioned. Did I miss that? Let's see. New Zealand Canadian dollar. Let's see the time frame, the 5 minute. Oh, here we go, Frank. You nailed it. You talk about IFT. Frank, I hope you took the trade. What a wonderful thing to end on. New Zealand dollar, again, the 6 item, describe it. Eric, you're in on this? Look at this. Look at this. Current students and guests. Our guests are already beating our current students here. This is beautiful. Now here, this is a great example. This is market cycle according to IFT, which we also refer to as market law 4. Former downtrend. Where does the downtrend end? Right there. One bar closes above the 20. The other bar goes further. Where do we, right? We looked at this earlier. So Frank, you're staying on top of it, man. You're staying on top of it. You learned here, you applied it. Beautiful. I hope you're benefiting. So where does the uptrend get confirmed? The soonest possible, according to market law 2. We make a new higher high and a new higher low over the 20, and it's on this bar right here that takes out that new higher high and higher low. At that point, the 8 and 20 should be turning up. But earlier we said, darn it, we have the 200 overhead. Be careful. But now we break above the 200, and now, Frank, remember I said this is IFT beauty here. Nice 45-degree angle of the 20. and the 8 nice and smooth and parallel, bars nice and uniform, all over the 200. There's no guarantees, but this can grind upwards for a while. So here was an opportunity to enter. Here was an opportunity to enter. You may be getting another pullback. We call this, when you have a super power trend like this, 45-degree angle, 8 and 20, nice and smooth, all above the 200. We call this riding the 8 and 20 train. We call this riding the 8 and 20 train. So Frank and Eric, very well done. Wow. Let me do the mic drop moment here, where our visitors are finding the trades better than our members at this late hour. No, this really is a good note to, I mean, look how we come full circle. Look how we come full circle. You know, I really have honored all of you. This was supposed to be about an hour. We've gone 2.5 hours. I know you last few hundred here are really, really serious about that. So I really wanted to honor you. I wanted to, work the live charts with you, search for the trades, take the trades, answer your questions, explain what the program's about, put you in touch with Omar, Camilo, Valentina, Paula, and Chevy if you're interested in joining. If you decide that this was a fun 2 hours and I never see you again, God bless. I wish you all the best. But we're always here for you, gang. We're always here for you. Now, I'll leave on this note, because if you're the last few hundred here, you're obviously into trading and you're into this. So as far as joining IFT or any education, remember the longevity of IFT. There you go, Frank. The presentation helped. And like Paula said, we'd love to have you in the family. I had the wonderful opportunity to spend an evening with Paula and the LATAM team down in Colombia a couple of weeks ago. South Shore, I am going to not take that, only because I really do have to wrap up. But remember, we don't trade anything below the 5-minute. Be careful. Be careful. So let me say this. I don't care what type of education you're looking at, whether it's trading education or not trading education, but particularly in the trading education world, think of a couple of things. Number one, longevity. We're not talking about having, a 6-month lucky streak. IFT has been around for decades. Number two, think about what you get. You truly get here. How many times did I say you get education, you get community education, you get more recordings than you probably will ever be able to handle as far as the continuing education library, and new ones are put into the library almost every week. You get people that have been successful at this. Almost every person you hear on the microphone at IFT has been through this process successfully. That's some of the brilliance of it. You get a community. And if you show, Chevy, if I missed a question, please repost it. Please, is that the, Chevy, is that the question, the next line? I'll take that as the question. So let me just finish this thought, Chevy. And if I missed his or her question, I apologize. I really try to do a good job keeping up on the questions. So after a sip of now cold green tea, let me finish this thought and then take that final question. So no matter what type of education, but particularly education, do really think about the longevity here and what you get. You truly get everything you need. And if you show some skill, right, you accumulate that $3,000 in 90 days and 100 trades. Those last two are simple and easy. The only challenge is really accumulating the $3,000. You will, Johnny, you join when it's good for you. We won't come chasing you, Johnny. Don't worry. Love to have you. Johnny, I thought you were going to bring the automation to us. Come on, dude. Johnny, I'm only having fun with you. You know if and when this is right for you. So, with that, everybody, um, think of the longevity. Think that you truly get everything you need to become a consistently profitable trader. Yet you get 100% freedom. And then on top of that, all of that for about a couple $1,000, isn't it better? Isn't it better than funding your own account and blowing up again and again and again and again? And come on, Johnny, you made $4,000 tonight. Buying this program is a drop in the bucket. Come on, Johnny, I want you in the room. I want to hear what you're doing in the AI world. It's inspiring. So, with that, really think about that. Then I'm going to give you 3 final questions that you should ask yourself in any education choice. Number 1, are you interested? Well, duh, you're here. You're interested. Number 2, will you dedicate some time to it? Right? Even Johnny with all his automated stuff, you got to dedicate a lot of time. Believe me, I'm way down the AI rabbit hole. I now on my calendar schedule AI time every day. So will you dedicate time to it? And then last but not least, I know the value of what you get here at IFT. I know the value is mind-boggling, but can you afford it in your budget? Most of you probably, if you can't afford one of these programs, most of you probably shouldn't be trading. You shouldn't be blowing up $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 accounts if you can't afford a couple of $1,000s for a program that gives you everything. Now you might think, yeah, Bill, that's great. That not nice. Put it in our face. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. You do whatever you want to do, but I've been there, blowing up account after account after account. I wish IFT existed in its current form when I first started. Legos. Wow. Wow. Ada. All right, everybody. Let me get to Chevy's last 2 questions here. Is it too risky to trade swing on high volatility and keep overnight? No, Chevy. I'm not sure if it's he or she, but we use the risk unit. The risk is always the same. We never lose more than 1 risk unit. That's what I was trying to tell the gentleman earlier. Stop using fixed lot size. Use fixed dollar risk. The risk is always the same. The risk is always the same. Now, the trader might really be thinking, if it gets volatile overnight, could I get dinged out? Sure. Sometimes you wake up to getting dinged out. Sometimes you wake up to it being taking off to the moon. But you have your hard stops in place. You will never take an unacceptable loss if you trade the IFT way. So that's question number 1. Do you need to monitor it daily? No. Another great question. Something I think we chatted about it earlier. I'm very, very passionate. Obviously, I'm passionate about everything with trading, right? But I'm very passionate about this with the 24-hour market. With the 24-hour market, the beauty of a 24-hour market, the beauty. Oh, great. 25 years. That's quite an accomplishment, Johnny. But thank you with all that tenure and all that technology for spending time with us. Would love to see you in the room. Come on, Johnny. Only half the profit that you made while you were speaking with us tonight. Come on, Johnny. I could twist your arm. Johnny, I'll stop teasing you. I'll stop teasing. This is a really good question. All the questions have been fantastic. But the last question from Chevy, really important. It's a 24-hour market. Don't do like I did before IFT. With a 24-hour market, you think you have to be up 24 hours a day tracking it, that you can never leave your computer. I'm telling you that is unhealthy for your trading. That is unhealthy for your family life. That is unhealthy for your physical life. That is unhealthy for your mental life. That is unhealthy for your family life. It is a great way to, it is a great way to turn around and blow up everything in your life. The beauty of a 24-hour market is you let it come to you. You decide what hours you want to trade. And you make those hours and you go to work. You put your hard stops in place or your hard trails in place, and like me, go sleep like a baby and revisit it in the morning. If you trade the IFT way, what's the worst thing you're going to wake up to? A one risk unit loss. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Again, thank you for the compliments. Okay, this truly, I'm such a liar, right? I keep saying, I think we're winding down. I think this is the last question, but I'm going to give the last question to Bliss. Will someone graduate's live account is funded what amount? Oh, Bliss, when you graduate, here, let me bring it up on the screen again. Where did I put it? I thought I had it here. Did I close it? Darn it. All right, let me just answer verbally. I know I have like charts going and placards going and whiteboards going. Let me just clean this all up. I'll leave this right there. Get that out of the way. There you go. So when you're Bliss, when you're trading on the simulator, you get all, it's the professional tools, everything's real, everything's live, all the bank feeds like the real pros use. The only thing that's artificial is the money. It's simulator money. But then after, and that's $50,000 of daily buying power. That's $50,000 of daily buying power. Then when you graduate, Bliss, it doesn't change. All that happens, it's $50,000 of live buying power. And you do not put up a penny of risk capital. The organization takes all the risk. Bliss, does that answer the question? That's right, Chevy. Just like the daily trading room. Right when I say goodbye, the next set of questions come in. A trader, I don't mean to be rude, but this is about trading, not about AI. You got to give us a little bit about a break, Trader Jay. I hope Johnny's using every large language model in the world and has built 85 agents. All right, everybody. This has been my honor. This has been my privilege. This is my honor. This has been my privilege. You might think, Bill, why did you go 3 hours? You know, we had almost 1,000 people earlier. We're down to 1/3 of that, 300. I know you three. I know everybody's sincere. I know some people just arrived to check out the pricing, get in touch with Chevy and Paula and Omar and Valentina and Camilo and just get enrolled. I know that happens all the time right at the top and then they leave. But I truly know if you've stayed here for 3 hours, there is something you needed, and I feel I've provided it for you. Whether it's some coaching, whether it's some specific chart related questions, whether it's risk management questions, I always try to over deliver, right? What am I really? I'm a fellow student first and foremost, right? who's just has worked really hard at this and have succeeded with this, and now I have the great honor of giving back. Uh, Everybody, thank you for being here. My esteemed team members, Paula, Chevy, Camilo, Valentina, and Omar. I could not do these sessions without you. Your presence here and your dedication to our students is tremendous. And behind the scenes, Juan, Nakoma, thank you very much for keeping the technology in order. That's it. Alexa, you're here too. Ooh, Alexa, you did that to me on purpose. You did that to me on purpose, just so I would say your name, and Amazon would start talking. Whenever I'll just call her A. Whenever A appears and I say her name, she does that to me on purpose, just so my device. Johnny, we do these sessions on this program just quarterly. Oliver's on YouTube all the time. Oliver's on YouTube all the time. But focus on this program we do quarterly. All right, everybody, you're quite welcome. Heli Flight, you were one of the first persons to ask the question. You're one of the last people to say goodbye. Once again, everybody, thank you. I am shutting down right now. It's been my honor and my privilege. If I never see you again, I wish you all the great blessings in the world. If you join the program and I see you almost every day, I'd love to be a fellow trader with you. Thank you, everybody. No matter what part of the world you're in, we all have this common passion of trading together. So thank you. If you haven't done so already, Juan, I'm coordinating with you a little bit. If you haven't done so already, do feel free, Chevy, Camilo, Valentina, Paul, and Omar will stick around for a little while. If you finally turned around, Nixon, thank you very much for the blessing. I appreciate it. We'll stick around, last minute if you want to grab a phone number or an email address. The room usually stays, after I disappear, the room usually stays open for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes if you need to grab somebody's information. Thanks, everyone. Hey, this might still be coming across YouTube, no big deal, but not only are we out on YouTube, but we're also broadcasting to a Zoom room with our current students. And I forgot to say goodnight to our current students. Thank you for being here. All right, gang. I'm gonna close down the Zoom, and Juan, YouTube land is all yours, my friend.
Sit up. Eyes closed. Take a breath.